What have you done psychologically, mentally, and emotionally to prepare for the big swings when you see, oh, my money just went up 10x in the last 3 months. Oh, I'm negative hundreds of thousands in a few weeks or millions. What have you done to prepare for that mentally and spiritually and psychologically?
I'm glad you brought that up, because one of the things that I say is that the psychology of investing is just as, if not more important than the actual how-tos of investing.
Yes.
And that's especially true when it comes to something like the stock market. In real estate, it's tough, but the difference between real estate and the stock market is if you buy a, say, $200,000 home, it's not gonna go to zero next week, next month, or really ever, because you have some land, you have a physical property. And the stock market, it can happen. And so there's a couple things that you can do.
You invest in stocks too?
I invest my money in 5 places: real estate, stocks, startups, cryptocurrency, and physical gold.
In that descending order of like value from the most to the least?
Yeah, I would say so. And then, if you want to put my business in there, then that would be number one.
Startups number one. Your business and startups number one. Yeah.
But I also invest in other startups as well. But kind of, I would say in that order, yes.
Yeah.
But in the stock market particularly, it is a liquid investment, meaning you can easily buy, you can easily sell. And that's what becomes a big psychological game, because every day people are watching that ticker.
I just made money. I just lost money.
What's Tesla doing today? Tesla's up $2, Tesla's down $4. And it can really drain you. And I think most people who start off investing their money, they get sucked into that rat race. I did too. Because when I first started investing my money in the stock market, I was like, wow, this is fun. This is exciting. Oh my God, it becomes like a drug. You become addicted to it, because I was waking up every morning. I was like, I'm gonna become a day trader. I got it. And so, I took a summer of when I was in college, and that's all I did.
Really?
I would wake up before the market, and I would read these stock charts, and I would trade these penny stocks. And some days I would make $1,000. Other days I would lose $1,000. And by the end of the summer, I don't think I made any money.
You just spent all this time.
I spent all my time. And I realized this is not for me. I became so addicted to it. All you're doing is watching the numbers go up and down and ticker symbols, and you're reading these forums. So the first thing is you have to understand that your psychology is important. What I do is I understand I'm not a trader. I don't trade, I don't flip. Even when it comes to real estate, really any of my investments.
You invest.
I invest to own for the long term. So what does that mean? So I have 2 strategies when it comes to investing my money. I have an active strategy and I have a passive strategy. I'll start with the passive strategy because that's easy to understand. Every month, I passively invest my money into stocks, physical, gold, and cryptocurrency.
Really?
And so what that means is it's automatic,
Auto payment
consistent,
in each one,
all the time. So
you're doing index funds with stocks, or what?
Stocks, I do ETFs, low-cost ETFs, and I have ETFs that give me exposure to the S&P 500. That's kind of your safe, your value. S&P 500 are the biggest 500 companies in the stock market. So that's the kind of the safe value play. I have some ETFs that give me exposure to innovation, startups, growth, because I like that space. Much more risky, but you could see more potential upside. Risk means you could also see more downside. And then I also have ETFs that give me exposure to emerging markets. These are countries that are overseas, countries like China, India, Korea, Brazil, countries that are up and coming, to give you some diversification, not just in companies, but also in dollars, right? Diversifying out of the dollar, so it kind of gives me that protection. So every week I have money that's leaving my account and being invested into these different ETFs. I don't care whether the market's up or down, it happens every week. In physical gold, every month, I use an app for this. There's a lot of apps that allow you to do this.
Yeah.
I have money that's withdrawn out of my bank account that buys me physical gold.
Really?
Now, people are going to say, why gold? For me, it's real money. It's another way of saving real money, because now if I have 50 grand of cash, would I rather save and bury that 50 grand of cash in my backyard, or bury 50 grand of gold in my backyard? I'd rather bury the gold, because I know that 50 grand of cash is guaranteed to lose value every single day. Gold is a store of value because it takes time, effort, and labor to mine physical gold. And that time, effort, and labor is represented through the physical piece of gold. So that's why I own it. It's not a huge piece of my portfolio, but it's kind of that insurance. That's the way I look at it. It's protection in case everything else goes wrong, that I have some physical gold. So I have that. And then I have my cryptocurrencies. Now, I'm mainly in Bitcoin. I have some Ethereum and a couple other coins, but mainly Bitcoin, and every day I buy a little bit of cryptocurrency. Again, I know it's volatile. I know you can see big swings up, big swings down. I don't care. I'm buying it every single day. So that's my passive strategy, where It doesn't matter what's going on in the market. I'm just going to keep buying no matter what's going on. Then my active strategy is now where I do more of the fundamental analysis, where I understand where am I actually investing my money. So this requires much more time and more effort on my end. So on the real estate side, I'm looking for deals that are paying me that 7% cash on cash return. And so I'm going to be analyzing the numbers, looking through properties, walk through a lot of deals, and when I find something, I will go out and buy it. In the stock market, rather similar. I'm looking for companies that I believe in, that I believe are good fundamentally. Fundamentally means looking at the numbers, right? What do the revenues look like? Have the revenues been growing? How fast are they growing? 10% a year, 20% a year? What about the profits? But you also have to look a little bit deeper than just the profits, because you want to see what's going on with the expenses. Where are they investing? Are their expenses going up because the cost of business is becoming more expensive? Or are the expenses rising because they're investing more in their company? So you got to do a little bit of digging in there. And then in startups, obviously I invest in my own companies, but I also invest in startup companies. I love entrepreneurship. I am a huge fan of entrepreneurs. I love supporting other entrepreneurs because I never had that support when I was getting started as an entrepreneur. So one of the ways I can provide the support is through money, through investing in some of these entrepreneurs. So I invest in these startups. Fourth, cryptocurrency. If a big cryptocurrency crash happens, well, I already know what I want to own. I'll just come in and buy more. And with gold, I don't really actively buy gold, but that's the 4 ways that I actively invest my money.
Sure. And where are the 3 biggest revenue streams coming from for you?
Well, obviously business, and that's across the different businesses. And then the second one I would say is real estate. That gives me that passive cash flow. And those are my 2 real, when I talk about income, cash in my pocket, it comes from my business and it comes from real estate. That's where my cash comes from.
Nice.
Yeah, it's pretty simple.
And what's the number 1 revenue generator in your business? Is it from YouTube? Is it from the newsletter? Is it from some other course or coaching? Or
So the business is divided up. I have my personal brand, which is Minority Mindset, right? That's me on YouTube. That's my blog. And then I have market briefs and market insiders. So number 1 would probably be my personal brand. And now I don't think that's going to last very long though. My personal brand is doing well because I've built up this big following on YouTube, which was completely, it's funny, it's accidental. I never wanted to be a celebrity. I never wanted to be famous. I never wanted to be known. I started YouTube on accident. I was, we talk about risks, making mistakes. I've always been an entrepreneur. And I went through a lot of different business ideas. And one idea that I had, it was in the year of my grad school. I was taking a class on public speaking. And my friend, my roommate at the time, he was like, you got to watch this show called Shark Tank. I was like, okay, whatever. I don't watch TV. He's like, but watch this show called Shark Tank. And, it's all about people pitching business ideas. And this class that I was taking, we had a project where I was supposed to pitch a product to the class, kind of like Shark Tank. I was like, that's easy. I do this like with my friends all day and night long. That can't be hard. So I kept putting it off. I'm a procrastinator, especially when it came to school, because my mind was always somewhere else. And so now, one day I was late to class, like normal. I pick up my backpack and I start running because I was like, I'm a couple minutes late. And it's raining this day. And as I'm running to my class, I stepped in a pothole filled with water. Now my foot is soaked. I sit down, I'm like, I'm wet. My socks are wet. I'm uncomfortable. And the teacher just goes, Jaspreet, it's your day. Like, your day for what? She's like, it's your day to present. And I was like, oh my God, I forgot. And so, obviously I don't tell her this, but I go stand in front of the class. And I'm like, Jaspreet, think of something, anything, just think of something. And so the first thing that comes to my mind were my wet socks. So I go up in front of the class, no practice, no preparation, and I pitch this idea of water-resistant socks. That way now you can be an athlete, you can walk around and not have to worry about stepping in puddles. I sat down, I was like, nice job, Jaspreet. But that's actually kind of a cool idea. So I go home and I started Googling, water-resistant socks. And they had these like really thick, uncomfortable-looking things that people wore when they go fishing and stuff. But nothing made for like athletes, people to wear in their regular life. So I was like, oh, maybe I'm onto something. So then I spent a lot of time trying to develop this technology, working with textile engineers, working with sock manufacturers, and I created a water-resistant sock. And now I go to launch this company, and I got approached by a marketing company, quote-unquote marketing company, and they said they're going to help me blow up my sales, they're going to help me do all this stuff, they're going to help me make all this money. And I was really skeptical. And then they said, don't worry, we have a 100% money back guarantee. If you're not completely satisfied, if we don't make our money back, you can get all of your money back. Well, I said, okay, that sounds pretty good. So I gave him money. It was a few grand, I think like $3,500, which was a lot of money. And the next day, after I gave them the money, I had a bad feeling in my stomach. I was like, I'm a marketer. I like the way I can promote products. I just something didn't seem right. So I call up the guy and I say, hey man, I know that we haven't started yet. Look, I just want to have my money back. I want to end this on amicable terms before you guys spend any money. Let's just end it now. And he said, okay, no problem. Puts me on hold, and I was in the gym at the time, and I was really frustrated because I was between sets, and he puts me on hold for a long time. And then all of a sudden the phone line goes beep, and I was like, oh, something's not right. So then I call up the other number I have, they don't pick up, I start emailing them, and I never hear from them again. Found out I got scammed. They were a fake company.
Ooh.
So now I was irritated. I launched the company, we had an amazing launch. I don't remember exactly, but in the first 30 days, we did over either $17,000 or $20,000 in sales right off of the gate.
Mm-hmm.
And I had this like kind of chip on my shoulder. I was like, that's not cool. Like nobody supported me as an entrepreneur. Nobody wanted me to do this, especially when it came to the sock business. I mean, there were so many jokes thrown at me because they're like, oh, you left medicine to go sell socks.
Right,
it's like, I was just so frustrated by it. And I was like, people don't see what I see. They don't have my vision. I want to do something to help other people like me. So I put out this course on Udemy, $7, on how to launch a business without getting screwed over. I didn't really care about making money. I just wanted to help people because I was so angry. And people loved it. And they were like, dude, can you please start a social media page, start an Instagram page? And I did it under the alias Minority Mindset. The whole idea being just thinking differently than the majority of people, because that's what I thought I always did. From the point where I started hosting parties instead of going to the parties, to then buying real estate when everybody was out blowing their money they didn't have in college, to now starting this company. I was like, I have this thing, Minority Mindset. So I called it that. And then I said, okay, I'll start an Instagram page, just posting the same stuff, like just here and there, like things that I wish I would have known about starting a business and about investing and money that I wish someone would have taught me. And then everyone says, Jaspreet, I like this. Can you make long form content? Can you create a blog? And I was like, well, English is my second language. You're not gonna like my writing. So no, I can't start a blog, but I don't mind talking. So I'll start a YouTube channel. So then I started this YouTube channel called Minority Mindset. And that slowly, organically started to grow. And I never started it with the intention of making money. And it's funny, I tell that to people now and they're like, there's no way that's true. Like you have to have some idea of trying to make money. And I really didn't. I was recording the videos off my phone, so I had really no expenses. I think I spent like $30 on a tripod. And that was it. Like I had no lights, I had no fancy equipment. And then I think we were close to 10,000 subscribers and my buddy comes up to me. He says, hey, how much money are you making from Minority Mindset? I'm like, I'm not making any money. He said, from your YouTube advertisements. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, you can have advertisements on your YouTube channel? I said, I have no idea what you're talking about. So he goes onto my YouTube channel with me, goes into the back end, the settings, and he's like, dude.
Just click one button.
Turn your monetization on. I was like, I don't even know that you could do that. This is before that there was even monetization requirements. Anybody could monetize any videos, no matter how many subscribers, how many videos you had. So I was like, oh, I didn't know that I could do this. So, I really started it just kind of with that goal of I want to put out that information that I wish somebody would have told me, kind of just like that helping hand that, hey, it's okay. Yeah. You're not the only one that thinks like this. It's okay to think a little bit differently. It's okay to try something different. So that was my whole goal. And then it started to grow. And then it became this bigger thing. And around 500,000 or 600,000 subscribers, I was like, wait, I can actually turn this into a business.
Right.
And so I went through this, I'm an entrepreneur. I was like, okay, Minority Mindset, I'm gonna turn it into a business. So I started these other products under Minority Mindset. I started this newsletter under Minority Mindset. I started, these other educational things. And it started to get really confusing to me because I was like, what is Minority Mindset? I'd be walking down the street and people will come up to me and say, dude, you're Minority Mindset, man. You really helped me out. You saved my life. You helped me get out of debt. And it made me feel really good. Like I could not believe people knew who I was. I remember one time I was with my dad. We were in Arizona and we were getting acai bowls, which are absolutely delicious, by the way. And we're in line and this guy sees me walk into the store. He was riding his bicycle and he races across the street to come inside of me. And he goes, Jaspreet, Minority Mindset, is that you? And I was like, yeah. And my dad's right there. And he just puts his arms around me, hugs me, and he's like, dude, you changed my life. You helped me out so much. You got me out of this position. And I was like, oh my God, no way. Like,
right.
and my dad looks at me, he's like, people watch you?
Wait, you're not a doctor and that's okay?
Yeah, and so it was like, that was like that realization that, oh my God, like people are actually paying attention. You don't, obviously you see the comments, you see the subscribers.
Until you meet people in person, you really don't know.
Exactly, and that like.
It's a crazy feeling.
And that time especially, just because, I saw my dad light up and he was like, he was shocked. And that's when I was, I can actually do something with this. So I was creating these products under it, but I was getting confused because what is minority mindset? Is it a company or is it me? And as the entrepreneur, I was like, I'm going to build a company. I'm going to turn this into something. But everybody assumed I'm minority mindset, which made it very hard to build a company out of it. And so this was 2021 in December. I decided to go on a thinking trip, and I'd never done this before. And I really recommend this to anybody who can do this. I went to Boca Raton, Florida, and I was there for about a week. And I separated myself from technology, people, everything. And I lived in this like really tiny little apartment. And all I had was a bicycle and my notebook.
I've done this before. It's a game changer.
Oh my God. And so what I would do is I'd ride my bike to the beach in the mornings. I sat there for a couple hours with my notepad and I just started writing down my thoughts. And from everything, not just business, my mental health, spiritually, what do I want out of life? What's important to me? What's happiness? Just starting writing things down. And I would get to the business, financial stuff, and I started asking minority mindset, question mark. What is it? Who is it? And it was at that week I realized I am minority mindset. That's what everybody identifies me as. And it makes sense because that is who I've always been. But these companies, they're getting intertwined into something they're being overshadowed. I can't give them the attention that they want. So after that, I came back to the office. This is the complete end of 2022 when I tell the team, 2021, tell the team as soon as we come back in 2022, we're going to change some things around. So the first week of 2022, we have an all hands meeting. I was like, here's what we're going to do. We're changing everything. We're going to take our newsletter, turn it into market briefs. We're going to launch this app, Market Insiders. We're going to do all this stuff. And everyone's like, where did this come from, right? And so we implemented all that. And then this is now early 2022. It took some time to implement. Market Briefs now becomes its own company, its own newsletter, where we're providing financial news that's accessible. I talk about accessibility of financial education. For me, that is the biggest thing because, I never understood those big terms. What does the 10-year yield going up 40 basis points means? It doesn't make any sense to somebody who's getting started. Yeah. So I want to make things accessible. So that's what we do. We break it down in a fun, witty email that you're actually going to want to read. Like you're going to look forward to reading this email, and it's completely free. And so we're going to create this into our own company. And we went through a lot of, it was a painful transition because we had issues with the email service providers. We had a company saying that, it'll work. We spent months transitioning over. The first week that we're working with this company, they say, oh, sorry, you're promoting financial content. We don't allow financial education. Oh, wow. We don't allow stock market. We don't allow cryptocurrency. We don't allow anything related to finance on our platform. I'm like, dude, you've been working with us for 2 months. I've talked to 5 people on your team. They know exactly what we're doing. And now you're telling us this? So we had to start the whole process over. So it was a big, it was a part of an entrepreneur. You get punched in the mouth. Yeah. Big mess. We go somewhere else. And now, it was April of 2022 where things finally were like, all right, we got it situated. Now we're going all in. So, you'd ask, where is most of the revenue coming from? It was YouTube, and it is, but I won't be long because, I talk about how YouTube funded my business. I take the revenue from YouTube. I'm investing all of it back into my companies because I want to turn Market Briefs into something big, man. Because it is needed. It is so important because if you're an investor, you need to know what's happening. And you want to be aware of what's happening. You don't got time to go through Yahoo Finance, Wall Street Journal, Forbes, CNBC, all these different companies. And then you have to parse through all these headlines, see what's important. Then you have to dissect what's actually happening. We break it down in 5 minutes or less. We have really smart people working on this. That, and then also just making it aware to people who were never given this financial education. The best tax games for investors. That's one of the reasons why wealthy people love investing in real estate, because not only can you get cash flow, but you also get tax benefits. I started investing in real estate when I was 19 on accident. I went through a lot of pain. I remember when I told my dad first, hey dad, I want to go invest in real estate. He was like, you're stupid, go study, go become